Welcome to the Pineapple Pinup, the Hot Wife Life. On today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about a very sexy barbecue I had over the weekend. And I'm going to talk to you about some listener things that have come up that I just wanted to share. I had planned a sexy barbecue. I had invited over um, just a few friends. It was Josh and Jeff, and then my friend A. She's a new friend, and I was hoping to get into a rhythm with her. I was hoping to get into a space where we were comfortable playing with one another so that she could be kind of a go-to ride or die kind of girl. And it was all planned, and I went and I got all the food and I did all the prep, and then she forgot. She forgot, and so I was left entertaining Josh and Jeff all by myself. I know, what a tragedy, huh? And she was very, very apologetic, and I basically told her, "Oh, I'm sorry that you have left me here with these 2 guys that are fucking awesome, and no skin off my nose, baby girl. No skin off my nose." So, um, the barbecue's planned. Um, the food is planned. I get everybody, yay, get everybody to the house, and I'm like, okay, so like we have a hot tub. We have toys galore. We have plenty of space. We have room to play when the weather allows. The weather was very uncooperative to get into the spa, and so we didn't end up doing the hot tubbing that I had hoped for, because there's something very sexy about having a conversation above the water while other things are happening below the water. Um, it's kind of it's one of the things that actually draws me to having a hot tub. The um the barbecue went pretty well. Um Josh lives close, so he was able to get there pretty much right on time. And Jeff does not live close, which is why it took him a while longer to get there. And what was interesting is how comfortable it felt to just have them hanging out, chilling, chatting, um, chilling and chatting and doing all of the things that are just normal things. So I was there with Jeff. I'm sorry. I was there with Josh, and Josh and I were sitting in the love seat that has kind of like this divide in it, while my husband was sitting over on the couch. And Josh casually reached over, grabbed my hand, and put it on his very erect cock in his sweatpants. I'm a girl who enjoys playing with a very erect cock. I, let's be honest, a cock in any state, kind of my go-to toy. So I started off kind of feeling him, rubbing him, and then almost instantly decided, no, this is a game that needs to be played on my knees. So I went down on my knees and started sucking him on the love seat 2 feet from my husband, which is the dream that my husband has, okay? My husband really enjoys it when play starts happening right in front of him. He loves that voyeuristic energy that he gets from play that just spontaneously erupts in front of him. He loves the fact that he is not really a consideration to, like, there's no permission asked of him. It's just sort of, this is what's happening, and he gets a front row seat to it. For him, that is very, very, it lights a lot of mirror neurons, and it starts a lot of anticipation inside of him. And it is a wonderful thing. I think that it is awesome that we have found this groove, this area, this spot that has brought us so much contentment within our relationship. So I am there trying desperately to deep throat this fat cock. And I mean, he is thick. And so I am not as great at deep throating him as I am, say, maybe Josh. No. I am not as great deep throating him as I am Jeff, because Jeff sort of just fits everything. Oh my God, it's so long, but just like this kind of perfect girth to like fit. Um, Josh is a stretch, like, for a lot of things. He's a stretch. So in this particular moment, I am literally drooling all over. I'm drooling all over his balls. I'm doing everything I can to work this cock. And his phone keeps going off. So I finally look at him and say, if you need to get that. So he had removed my dress while I was sitting there. And I had taken off the swimsuit that I had on, because obviously we weren't going in the spa. So I'm sitting there just sort of like naked. And he goes downstairs to take a phone call. And I'm sort of like sitting around trying to figure out what the flip is going on. And in all the confusion, Jeff arrives. So Jeff and Josh come back upstairs, and they're both sitting on the love seat now. So I am in the process of welcoming Jeff with my mouth, and I'm kneeling on the floor in front of him when Josh is sort of like, eh. And I was like, all right. So I stood up and allowed Josh to take me from behind while I was bent over sucking Jeff's cock. Now, this position was awesome. It was enough to get me flowing almost immediately. And the problem that I had with that is that it was my brand new rug. I had just put this rug down maybe 4 weeks ago. And I was getting girl cum all over all over my brand new rug. And on top of that, that position requires that I be on my tiptoes because Josh is not a short guy. Okay. So, and I'm trying to bend over into the seat of a love seat to suck a cock. And it's a lot of strain. And I'm an older girl. I am reaching a stage in my life where I am just not young. And being able to be on my tiptoes and bent over in that position for a very extended period of time is not as easy as it used to be for me. So I um I kind of said, "Why don't we go somewhere a little bit more comfortable?" So I took them upstairs and I took them to the bedroom where we proceeded to do several different positions of finger cuffing. One in the mouth, one in the cunt, and just fucking. And for some reason, I think that while I'm in the throes of things, that guys develop hand signals that tell them, "Hey, it's time to switch. Let's let's rotate." I don't know why it's happening. I don't know when it's happening. All I know is that one instant I am full from both ends, the next instant I am not full from either end, and then all of a sudden I am full from both ends again. It is a dance that happens kind of without me. I mean, for me, but kind of without me. And so I got to experience just kind of being the object and the welcoming orifices, and it was so hot. And I know that they were doing much of that for me. They were doing the rotating thing so that nobody came too quickly. They were doing the rotating thing so that it would cause some alterations in what was going on inside of me, and it was fucking fantastic. I regret the fact that I was so busy that I didn't hydrate properly, because proper hydration is essential for me to function. Because, like I said, I'm older. I need to have as much, like, when you're getting to a stage in your life, hydration matters a lot more. And right now I'm kind of in that stage where if my hydration drops off, I can feel it all over my body. So I wish that I had hydrated more, because I really feel like it would have made everything just a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. Um, so we rotated, and I mean, at one point I had my head hanging off the bed and a cock kind of going in what I would consider upside down. Now, he's right side up. I'm the one who's upside down, but it's going in, and I am producing a lot of saliva, which at some points has to go somewhere. And gravity's real, guys. Gravity, it works. So I'm getting all of this saliva, and it's like just floating down into my nasal cavities, which is making me feel a little bit like I'm drowning on dry land. So I am so we have to change this position, probably fairly a lot quicker than I probably would have wanted to. But it was funny because Josh is using my mouth at this angle and literally pushing in as far as he can, and he can go pretty far in that position. So his ball sack is on my nose, and I'm literally like, "Dude, you're gonna suffocate me. Can let's angle this a little bit different." And it ended up working out pretty great. It was so much fun. And but it was funny because Josh went around and he was fucking me, and then Jeff was using my mouth in that position. And I got to the point where it was like, "Okay, guys, we gotta move. We gotta move me," because I was literally getting to the point where I was lightheaded. And what's really funny is it wasn't necessarily me that saw that I was getting lightheaded. It was Josh. Josh is like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." Let's get you up, because I think he felt like I was going, like I was fading. And it was really nice to be paid attention to in that way, to be seen, and know that that is probably not the greatest position to stay in for the longest amount of time. But I'm I have zero complaints. And we were fucking, so much fucking. And it was so good. And I mean, the differences between the fucking with Josh and the fucking with Jeff, it's they're both amazing. But there are little tiny differences where Jeff tends to hit certain spots differently than Josh does. And it is amazing. And Jeff is a little bit rougher than Josh, which is amazing. But both have so much space to be whomever they want to be in that space. Because, I mean, literally, for me, it's all good. It was all good. And I'm getting off left and right. They're giving me my wand. I'm playing with my wand. I'm trying not to hit people with it because nobody likes a wood shampoo from a sex toy. That's not cool. And it was so much fun. It was, I mean, I had a great time. I can't speak for the guys, but I had a great time. We decided to go down and, start dinner. Just make sure everything was going to be ready to eat at some point because we were all going to be starving. Josh had been getting phone calls and text messages periodically throughout the day. And so we went downstairs and he was like, I'm going to have to go. So I gave him some potato salad because I'm kind of famous for my potato salad. And one day I will give you all the recipe, maybe. But I gave him some potato salad and we ate and we talked about cooking, which is for me, my second favorite pastime. I freaking love cooking. I love inventing recipes and I love talking about food and I love making food and I love having people eat my food and then make yummy noises. I love that, all of it. And so my husband was barbecuing and we were chatting and Jeff was chatting with us and we were all talking about different food and they were eating my potato salad, which was awesome. And then it was so much fun. We were just having a great time. And then of course Josh had to leave. So we went ahead and had dinnerish lunch. It was like late in the afternoon, so it was probably closer to, yeah, it's dinnerish lunch. I don't know. So then Jeff and I, after we ate, decided that the evening wasn't over, so let's go ahead and go play. Now, I don't know if I have stressed this enough on this podcast, but I do not eat before I go and play. I can have sex with my husband anytime, but I do not eat before I go and play with play partners. It is kind of a steadfast rule, and we're about to find out why. Okay, so Jeff and I go upstairs to play, and my stomach starts to make noises, digestive noises, okay? And we're playing, and we're both, I mean, we're having a really good time, and I'm having an especially good time. And he literally, when a woman orgasms, the entire area of her pelvis starts to contract. And then the contraction gets to a peak or a climax, and then everything sort of releases. Okay. But in that contraction stage, nothing in the pelvic area is safe from being contracted on, which means that some air escaped. Some air escaped my back door. And Jeff made a little comment, and I said, this is why I don't fucking eat before I play. That and the fact that I don't want to puke on anyone. Okay, so there's a couple of different reasons why I don't eat before I play. So anyway, so we were fucking and lounging, fucking and lounging, fucking and lounging. And when we lounge, we sit there and we talk and we get intimate with one another and we share stuff with each other. And it's awesome. It's so much fun to sit there and just chat with Jeff. So we we're chatting, we're talking, we're having some fun, and he decides that he wants to play around with my butthole. And he is fingering and he is touching and caressing, and I'm really into it and I'm going with it, and it is it's nice and I'm enjoying the crap out of it. And then he goes down and starts giving me a rim job. And here's the problem with my fucked up little brain, okay? I come up with jokes at weird times that I have to release or they will keep running through my brain. So he's down there licking my butthole, and all I can think is, don't say fire in the hole. Don't say fire in the hole. So now I'm tense because of the fact that if I relax even a moment, I'm going to say fire in the hole. And then the other worst part about this is that if I relax, what if I actually float an air biscuit past his nose? Because maybe there is a fire in the hole and that's why I keep thinking it. So that whole series was very, very was very, very tense for me. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not saying that I wasn't enjoying it, because I was. But I'm not kidding you. That joke kept running through my brain. And so we ended up, we fucked and we finished up, and we went back downstairs and we were hanging out, talking to my husband, and then I needed to let my dogs out and feed them. So I let them out and I fed them, and Jeff's getting ready to go and we're saying goodbye. And then I realize I'm going to have to walk my dogs. So I go, so I say goodbye to Jeff, and then I get my dogs ready and we go out. We're getting ready to go out for a walk. And I say to my husband, I have something I need to tell you. Don't let me forget. So I went out and walked my dogs, and in this particular day, a neighbor who is not very, who causes a lot of drama in the neighborhood, left his door open and his dogs escaped. And his dogs came racing at my dogs. Now, I've lost a dog to a dog fight before, so I'm probably a little bit less capable of handling what's happening. But these dogs are coming up and they're biting and growling at my dogs. And I'm literally screaming at the top of my lungs and trying to get people to come and help me. And I'm kicking the dogs away and I'm trying to pull my dogs in the opposite direction. And they didn't get very latched on, because I think that they were trying to figure out what the hell I was doing because I was screaming so freaking loud. And a bunch of my neighbors came out, and eventually somebody came and chased those dogs away. And then I walked my dogs home. I got them, I rushed them home, and I went inside and I was really freaked out, a whole lot of adrenaline. And I'm like, oh, and my husband's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, just check the dog. So he checks the dog, and then he goes out to make sure that everything is fine. I go back out to check and make sure everything is fine. Everything's fine. So we come back home. And we're sitting there, and I tell him the story of fire in the hole. And he's laughing hysterically that this happened to me. He's laughing hysterically. So it's a couple hours later, and we're heading to bed, and I'm upstairs in our bedroom, making sure that our bedroom is safe to our bed is safe to sleep in again. I've cleaned up all the towels. I've put the blankets back to right, and I can hear him downstairs chuckling. And I'm like, "What's funny?" And and all I can hear from down below is fire in the hole. So I had a listener reach out to me um, to ask me about like a tribute, and I was like, "Tell me more. What is that?" Um, so apparently, there's this thing that's called a cuck tribute. It is when a man comes on a picture of a man's wife and then sends it to her, sends it to him, sends it to the cuck. This is something that is meant to add a layer of gratitude for allowing people to see and share the wife, but it is also designed for a little bit of humiliation, a little bit of I came on your thing. Um and somebody asked me, how I felt about this. And I'll be honest with you, I had to do some research. I had to check it out. I had to figure out what it all meant. And I um, I don't think I have feelings about it. I think that this is something that is between a bull and a cuck. I think this is something that really is not about the woman per se, or about the woman, but in a tangent kind of thing. The woman really doesn't have a lot going into it. It's her photo, but coming on her photo as a tribute to gratitude for sharing her um, is more about the cuck or the stag than it is about the vixen, the hot wife, whatever you want to call it. So for me, I don't have a whole lot of opinion. I think that this is a game that's played mentally between two men, and it is a game to show one man how dominant the other is. I honestly don't know how my husband feels about it. I haven't brought this up to my husband, but this is something that I'd like some more opinions on. I'd like to know more about it. Is this something that sounds intriguing? Is this something that sounds like an additive? And to that end, I have had some people reach out to me asking me for advice on how to A, either get into this, or B, um, talking about how they tried to have the conversation and things that happened. One gentleman that I spoke to, he had the conversation with his girlfriend and she did not react well and they ended up breaking up. And now he's kind of, well, what should I do? Okay, first of all, this really isn't something I can give advice on because um your relationship has to be built between the two people in the relationship, and it really can't have anything to do with a third party. Um, if you are thinking of adding a third party, if you are into polyamory, then that needs to be a discussion between the parties involved. And anybody else's opinion is really just that, an opinion. It's got nothing to do with anything. So, this gentleman is now, of course, looking for somebody who does want to share a lifestyle type life with him. And that makes sense to me. I understand if you have tried the route and it didn't work out. But you can't have this discussion. You can't make these decisions based on somebody else's opinion. You have to make these decisions based on what's going on inside of you. So I don't want anybody to break up over the lifestyle. That's never been my intent. My relationship is enhanced by the lifestyle. It is not impeded by the lifestyle. It is not trying to fix something. It is not it is literally, my husband and I have come together. We have seen that we are both interested in having this type of relationship, and we have found a way to make it work. Lifestyle is not for everyone. And that does not mean that if you want to have the lifestyle and your partner doesn't, that you have free reign to go and explore the lifestyle on your own. That needs to be a discussion between the two of you. That needs to be a meeting of the minds. It needs to be a negotiation. It needs to be fully talked through. And I know that there are some people who are not going to ever be able to experience this because their partner's not willing. And I understand that, and I'm sorry for that. But the lifestyle is not a relationship. The relationship is the reason that the lifestyle works. Without the relationship, then it is not the same thing. You're not experiencing what it is that you're trying to experience, if you know what I'm saying. The lifestyle is open to all people, but if what you're seeking is the lifestyle with your partner, you're not going to be able to experience that if they're not on board, if you don't have their consent. Just is a fact. But the one thing I will say is that the lifestyle should never, ever be your main focus. The lifestyle should be an additive. It should be something that enhances the relationship that you already have. And I'm only saying that because I don't ever want to be held responsible for someone else's choice to break up their relationship. That is not ever what I'm saying to do, ever. But that being said, I love the lifestyle. I love what my husband and I are doing, and I love being able to share it like this. Sometimes living vicariously can lead down some paths. And I don't ever want anyone to be miserable because they're listening to this podcast. That's not what this podcast is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about destigmatizing what this lifestyle is. It's supposed to be about showing people that this lifestyle is filled with normal people who have high sex drives, and it's filled with normal people who enjoy watching pleasure, enjoy being part of pleasure. This is not supposed to be something that is, this isn't supposed to be all of it. Okay. But the problem is that what if you are in the lifestyle? What if you're single and you're in the lifestyle, you're a bull, you're a unicorn, whatever it is that you are? Does that lead to a successful relationship later on? Does that lead to the ability to commit to someone and share your someone? because you understand the lifestyle and all that stuff? Or is this a wild oat kind of thing? Is this something that can develop more? And I would love, 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 love to hear back from anybody who's found their partner through the lifestyle. I am definitely, I'm curious about everybody. I'm curious about how everybody got here, and I'm curious about how everybody, what's keeping them from coming here. I'm very curious. I'm a curious person. And I know that each one of you is also very curious because you listen to this podcast every week. So, what kind of curiosity, what kind of information? So, because we're curious, it would be nice to have people reach out to me and tell me their story. And I would love to share your story online. Please don't hesitate to shout, hit me up on any of my socials or on my email. And I would love to share your story if you're willing. I just wanted to thank you all for listening today. You guys are awesome. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to talk about on the air, please don't hesitate to hit me up at any of my socials, which are listed in my show description. And you can also hit me up at pineapplepinuppod@gmail.com. I really do look forward to hearing from you. And as you can tell, I will share whatever you want me to share on my podcast. I'd like to thank everybody for checking out privateadventures.net and using the promo code pineapplepinup10. This is a local business who is just trying to find a way to make a few extra dollars in this economy. I think we all can understand that. So feel free to reach out and support somebody in the life, really. Thank you so much.